He's a few years younger than some of our other honorees. His name is Sawan Kapoor. And, you know, as professors, we often see young people coming through our halls, and some are diamonds in the rough, and others needing more time to develop their jewel. But the shine that I would tell you came through with Sawan as a student was quite evident. I had the pleasure of having Sawan in several courses, and you could tell as a young man in our program that he was going to excel at everything that he touched. In fact, I recall the conversation I had with Sawan in my office the day before he graduated, and I told him I expected that when he made his first $1 million to be invited to India. And he asked me whether it needed to be in US dollars or Indian rupees. At the time I said I would settle for either, but then I realized there's a 45-to-1 exchange. But either way, Sawan has assured me that there's a lot of sweat to make up that $1 million rupees. I will tell you that I have been invited to India. And while I have not yet made that journey, I do hope sometime in the future to be in India and visit with Sawan. Sawan graduated in the year 2001. And typical of Sawan, as a student, he didn't just do one internship, he did 4. He did one stint in London with Tesco, and then he also spent a semester abroad in Scotland. He started his career after graduating with the Damon Worldwide Group as an analyst, and later became a business manager for Safeway in California, as well as Wegmans in New York. In 2006, he joined the Palm Bay International of New York as Director of Enterprise Planning, where he later became Vice President of Enterprise Planning and Business Development. His responsibilities at Palm Bay included supply chain, business process design, and global business development. In 2008, he became the CEO of Sutton Maxwell in New York, a direct-to-retail beverage and alcohol import and distributing company. In 2010, he returned to India as president and CEO of Kapoor Lighting, India's largest and oldest lighting firm for commercial and residential lighting. They have businesses in 4 continents, and Sawan is the 3rd generation to lead this family business that has thrived for 60 years. It is with great pleasure that we bestow the Outstanding Food Marketing Alumni Award to Mr. Sawan Kapoor.
I took a 14-hour haul, so I think I'll take a little more time than Brian to come here. Dr. Gabino offered this last year, but my travel commitments were, I was unable to make it. I just left the United States. Yeah, I really can't see anybody yet. I think the shine he was talking about might be coming from right here. I had more hair in that photograph that was out there a minute ago. Well, when it comes to making speeches, a wise man once said, and I'll quote, if silence is golden, duct tape is silver. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for accommodating me as I offer you my bronze. Well, this is a first for me, and I'm deeply honored to receive this from my alma mater and from Dr. G. When I first heard his name, Gambino, which Dr. Lukmani also pointed out, I had no idea that the context of the word Godfather would have so much to do with my education and not much with Francis Ford Coppola. But I have three thank yous to make. The first to Dr. Gambino, whom I first met on the 12th of Jan, the year 2000. And I remember that because, I'd been at WMU for a bit, and I'd gone home over the winter break. And on the way back, my flight got stuck in Europe due to weather for a couple of days. And by the time I got back in, the time to register for courses and declare a major had passed. So when I expressed an interest in food marketing as a major, Frank made a quick call to the provost's office. And on the 12th of Jan, I declared myself a FMK major, and I'm very happy that I did. And that support that I received from Frank that day has never stopped. In fact, it's only grown. I remember it was the 10th of September 2001, and I was having dinner with some friends gloating about how I'd received multiple job offers as I would graduate that December. Well, September 11th changed all of that, and I was an international student, and all of those offers were rescinded. But there's no blame here. It truly was a confusing time for one and all. Reflecting back, I see how insignificant my little worries were given the magnitude of the tragedy that had occurred on American soil. And since that day on, everybody affected that day has always been in my prayers. But it was in that difficult time that Dr. Gambino, helped me, steered me towards an interview with Damon Worldwide, and at the time Damon Associates, and sent a letter of recommendation for me. And I got the job, and I spent 5 wonderful years with that great organization. I lived with them in nearly every time zone in the U.S. It was an amazing opportunity for a young man like myself out of college, and the culture, the hands-on nature of getting things done became the very DNA of how I work even today. And of course, my education had prepared me incredibly well to take on the challenges of work life. So to all the students out there, the only obstacle in your way is you. So don't feel stressed about the economy or anything. You are all going to do it. You have great leaders and great mentors here, and you're going to go on to do some brilliant things. For all that and more, thank you, Frank. In my standing here today, you have such a major contribution. You helped me go from business analyst to CEO, and I am unable to convey the enormity of my gratitude. Thank you very much. Well, the second thanks I have to give is to this great country, America. I hope everyone here realizes how lucky they are that they are here and that they belong here. There's no other place like this in the world. My experiences here have made me who I am, and while my very fabric will always remain Indian, the weave to that fabric very proudly will be American. I fell in love. I fell in love with American sensibilities, American values, the warm and wonderful people of this land, and American life. From the nature and the sights this country has to offer to the philosophies that it preaches, I remain an ardent fan and a huge supporter of the efforts of the USA around the world. And for all of the problems that surround the economy and the country, the issues that surround America today, the one quality that I saw at work always was American resilience. And no other country knows how to get back up onto the horse, onto the saddle, dust themselves off, and proceed to do brilliant things. So all of this is just part of that cycle from where greatness emerges. It always comes from some form of struggle or evolution, and that's happening right now. So it's only part of the process as I see it. May honor and glory always be bestowed freely and abundantly on the United States and to all of the people that live here. The most important thanks that I will make today is to my father, who unfortunately could not be with me here today given his business commitments, but is with me in spirit as always. I know many wise men. I know only one superhero, and that's Dad. In my 13 years here in the U.S., he made 17 visits to coach and mentor me and hold my hand when I needed him. Every important lesson that I've learned from him. And I'll offer you three that have been very relevant to my success. The first, he taught me about happiness, and he said it is so deeply and strongly correlated with gratitude and with giving freely. Because when you give with gratitude, you sow the seeds to reap happiness. So I am happy today, regardless of circumstance or situation, because of Dad. Another very important lesson he taught me, which has intensely impacted my personal and professional life, is that if you want to win in life, be prepared to lose the argument. I didn't know how true that was till I got married. Yeah, laugh support, that was a good one. Yeah, it makes you feel every emotion known to humankind. And I was living here alone by myself for so many years. Oh my God, was it? But the point was, he told me, if you want to take the talking trophy home, then you stabbed the prospective solution even before it's been formulated. This lesson continues to, serve every truly successful person, I'm sure, regardless of gender, color, age, or creed. The last one I'll mention is, Dad asked me that, do you want to be satisfied? And I said, satisfied, yes, but content, not today. So he said, okay, then please understand that satisfaction has so much more to do with effort than it does have to do with reward. So seek effort, seek struggle if you want to be satisfied, and remain ambitious. Most people will always be more in love with the destination, and like New Year's Eve, that comes once a year. We spend the majority of our time in the journey. Now, I can tell you that these lessons were not ingrained overnight. It was 30 plus years of his investment in his son. But the reason they sank in and they continue to sink in is because he always led by example. So, this is for you, Dad. In conclusion, I thank my family, my mom, whose unconditional love has formed me, my wife and son, who are the joys of my life today. My wife endures me, so you see a very pleasant side of me today. Ask her, there's more. And a special mention to my sister, who, like Dad, lives by example. Thank you for listening, and have an excellent conference. Thank you very much.